I have three wonderful assistants here. I've got Ben Frena, Raptor, and I've got Natsumi here. And I'm gonna kick the crap out of Gluttony in a 4-man squad with just the blue beetle on me. So I'm gonna let him do his laser. I'm gonna let him hit him with that. And now I'm gonna start ripping him apart. Break his knee, break his other knee, knock him to the floor. Cook him. Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So, the blue beetle is an absolute bossing beast. It's a super good stat stick for Bunny. There's literally nothing this weapon cannot do. So let me show you the build for this weapon and let me show you what it is capable of. Let's get on into today's video. So starting off with the blue beetle's cores and substats. For the cores and substats, this is what I have gone for a DPS blue beetle. For a big boy damage beetle, this is what I have over here. Now for the top core, it's going to be fire rate because we want to be spraying and melting everything with this. And then for firearm attack for the second one, for the same principle. Electricity, you can roll this to any element you want, but I've gone with electricity because this weapon has inanimate electricity and, you know, electricity hits very hard, Bunny hits very hard, Blue Beetle and Bunny is a pretty devastating combo. Fire rate again for, you know, upping that fire rate, making us spray and rip everything apart again. And sprint speed. Now, with the yellow stat on the cores, you could either go with sprint speed to achieve max sprint on Bunny, which is what I have done. And then you can also use it for grapple, specifically if you want to infinite spider with Bunny. But this is an absolute beast. Now, electricity on the substats is nice. Crit rate, crit damage, rounds per mag, order of truth is gonna all be things that you would definitely want to go for. So those are the sort of substats that I would recommend. Now, let's make the build on here and let me show you the DPS build and then I'll talk about the stat stick on here as well. So stat stick coming up, but let's focus on DPS build first. So for the DPS build, of course, we are going with action and reaction because, you know, DPS. We want to be getting insane levels of firearm attack. So with this, I would go with rifling reinforcement as well for more firearm attack. Now, this weapon is going to be built towards crit. So we are going to go with critical. And for this, we're going to go with better insight. We're going to go with better concentration and concentration priority. So this is the max trifecta of 5 mods you want to use for damage and crit on all weapons. Now, for this as well, we want to expand our magazine size to allow us to spray even more. And then you would also want to increase the fire rate even harder to basically allow us to absolutely rip everything apart much faster. So this is what we've got for our main setup. Now, just because this weapon is a bossing weapon as well, you want to be hitting weak points for maxed out damage. That's just how the blue beetle works. So this is what I would recommend for that. Now, element on the blue beetle as well. Now, like I said, I go with electricity, but you can change it and go with whichever element you want. I'm just using electricity, but this is completely interchangeable. Then to finish this off, because of our fire rate being so high, you want to complement it with payout. So you basically get infinite ammo for a short period of time, and this is going to absolutely allow you to rip apart stuff to a criminal extent. So this is what you would want to go for with the DPS version of the blue beetle. However, for the glare specific version of the blue beetle, if you want to use it with glare or whatever, I would recommend changing element to whichever you want. Let's go back to electricity over here, but then changing payout to have aiming. This will allow you to hit weak points harder, but honestly, I still think even if you are using glare, you might as well still stick with the payout version. It's still very good. So this is the glare specific version of this build. So this is the DPS version of the blue beetle. So let me show you the other half, which is the stat stick variant of the blue beetle. For the stat stick, the only difference on the actual substats is that I've gone with 1 sprint core and 1 grapple core. Like I said before, you want to have max speed and infinite spidering with Bunny, and this will allow you to run this with the crit setup. So this is going to be absolutely disgusting for your damage, and it's also going to be disgusting for your weapon setup. So let's go with that. Next up, these are the modules you are going to want to go with specifically for the setup when it comes to using this as a stat stick. Now, with this, again, we are still eating into the damage on here, so we've still gone with this. We've gone with this as well. You can honestly change this up slightly. Let me just put on better insight, better concentration. So there you go. We'll drop this as well. We'll have concentration priority. So there you go. This is what I would recommend for a simplest version of it and allow you to eat into your stat stick features. So this is what I would recommend. We've still got our damage here. We've still got our crit off here. We've got our element, our rounds, and our fire rate. The only difference is the fact that you would want to use a defense master to basically allow yourself to get extra defense when switching between weapon to weapon, and change weapon speed, again, more defense. Now, the funny thing about this is if you are using this on Beetle to Beetle, you can essentially switch from this build over to this build, so on and so forth. It's basically infinite ammo trick or infinite defense trick. It really doesn't make a difference. So yeah, this is what I would recommend, and yeah, that is stat stick version of Beetle. So now let's get on into some Beetle gameplay, and I'll show you what this thing is capable of. So let's run a quick mysteries and dungeon, and let me show you how Bunny performs. Now, because the blue Beetle, even with a damage setup on it, still has the unique fusion ability, even with this, whilst I am using my bunny, I am still 100% going to be getting all the insane crits with my build. You can see here I'm hitting over 1.3 million crits consistently with my bunny. Absolutely just crazy. And yeah, I could be doing this a lot faster, but I'm not using a max cooldown build for condense. So I'm taking it slow and easy today, which is kind of rough, but it is what it is. See, even here, just in general, Crit Bunny, absolutely a crazy setup, and definitely a setup that you would want to be using. With Bunny, I would normally be grappling, but like I said, because you have the trade-off of either making the blue Beetle a stat stick or making it a full DPS, I've went with the full DPS with this one, because obviously, you know, the whole point of this video is showing you how the blue Beetle is insane at DPS. I'm obviously not using grapple, so I'm trying to be careful and conserve my grapples and not go crazy with everything here. That being said, I'm still going to rip everything apart with some condensers here and there. But yeah, for the most part, you just essentially want to fly around with Bunny and do all of this. Now, let's quickly just keep running through. Then for the Blue Beetle's DPS cycle, I'm going to show you exactly how crazy it is up against the dungeon bosses inside of here. So I'm just running through this at a decently fast pace, I'd say. Definitely not my fastest run ever. I'd have to use my other Beetle for that, but I think if I was to tell you guys to bulk up and run double Beetles, I don't think anyone would be very impressed. So, yeah. Oh, missed a mob down there. Unlucky. Let's go and get him. Like I said, this is far from the finest of my gameplay that I've provided. I promise. It is what it is. Oh, Bulletproof Santa, thank you so much for the sub, bro. I appreciate that. Let's go. Thank you, guys. Thank you, man. You guys, you got the sub. Welcome to the family, bro. Appreciate you, King. Enjoy all the cool emotes and everything. Thank you for the sub again, man. Appreciate you, King. Okay, let's just quickly take care of the rest of this over here. Move this here. Take care of all these here. And honestly, I was going to say another thing on the side. A lot of people be sleeping on Crit Bunny, especially with her new speed. She's way more viable. The damage is absolutely there. This is a pretty shining example. As for the bunny build, I will give you a quick rundown of the bunny build in a moment, or towards the end of the run. So, you know, if you are interested in my bunny setup, I'm more than happy to give it to you. Just quick to hit there, pop that over there, nuke that, over here we go. But I was going to say, more so for the Beetle, it is way more worth trying to... Oh my god, hi friend, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you, King. Thank you, man. But with the Beetle, I was going to say, just in general, I do personally prefer running a sprint and a grapple. This allows Bunny to be max speed and also infinite spider. But over here is where stuff gets real fun. This is where I'm about to show you that this weapon is not just a weapon, it is an absolute DPS machine. So I'm just going to use Bunny's 3 to get rid of all this. Then we're just going to rip apart everything with the Blue Beetle. You can watch the HP on the non-whatever, and I'm not even going to try naming the bosses. But you can just see the Beetle absolutely rips everything apart. Even from here, I'm about to take a bloody death because I don't want to... Yeah, I'm dead, bro. I'm not dead. In fact, okay, cooking. Right, let's go do this. Grab that. Peek. But just in general, you can see when you aim for headshots, especially with this setup, you're just gonna rip everything apart. The Beetle is like absolutely a monster when it comes to damage, and I'm gonna show you this very much so. A 400% is just a light example of what the Beetle can do. If you think this was crazy, let me show you how the Beetle can handle harder content in this game. Let's get on into it. As I promised, the bunny build real quick though. So it's just a max damage build. It's got almost perfect cooldown for your 3, so this is what I use it for. Condense has quite a long cooldown because it's not focused for condense, but this is what I was running in the gameplay. For the weapon, it is a blue beetle. You need 1 sprint core and 1 grapple core instead of the fire rate at the top, so I would run the other blue beetle with this, the more static based one, but honestly you'd get away with both of it. If you use the static based beetle, thank you for the follow, 180 proof shine, I appreciate that, king. If you were to use the other blue beetle, so the one with the actual correct stats on it, sprint and grapple, and then still use the exact same build on this beetle, you would still hit the same or similar levels of damage, so don't worry about that. A last dagger, because you know, you don't really need it anymore. You can probably nuke this dagger, you can get rid of it because the beetle is your one man damage machine. For the reactor, singular and crit rate, with the blue beetle mountain, of course, electric singular for bunny, 2 pieces of ascending for skill cost, max HP, MP recovery out of combat, max MP, MP recovery in combat, MP recovery modifier, electric resistance or defense would be fine, and then shield recovery modifier. For all of the external component cores, for the orange one you want max HP, for the blue one you want max defense, and for the arcade tuning, this is my build over here. This has electric cohesion up top, and yeah, that's basically the bunny build, quick rundown. So now let me go on into the actual bossing with this, which is a completely different ball game. So as for bossing with the blue beetle, something I never thought I would be saying, what does this look like? And I can tell you, it's pretty crazy. You can melt stuff with the blue beetle faster than you can melt a lot of other things in this game, whether that be specific bosses here and there or whatever. You can absolutely rip every boss, or majority if not every boss in the game, apart with the beetle. Now this is still only with electricity, so what happens when we keep scaling this up, you know, the beetle's not struggling with it. So yeah, this is the biggest thing about it. And yeah, it keeps scaling. If you want to take on Gluttony with it even, let's see how Gluttony would fare up against the beetle. Absolutely doggery levels of damage. Hell, if you want to push this even further, the Defiler with his crippling weakness to electricity, he's very cooked. Bossing with this weapon is an absolute beast. Now, I don't know what to tell you, man. I didn't even expect this when I made this build up, and yeah, it's something even I'm surprised about. And Tormentor is like the first example of a boss that will fully make me use more than 1 mag on him, which is insane. But just in general, I think that this is like insane that it comes to Tormentor to basically force me to use 2 hits with Glare instead of having to one-shot everything. But as far as bossing goes with the blue beetle, it's pretty insane. Now that is only with Glare. So if we push this concept over and move it over to another Descendant, like let's say Haley for example, this concept gets pushed even further. Haley is just as strong as Glare, if not stronger. It's even crazier. If you wanted to take on the Defiler, like let's say even hell for the sake of it, a little bit faster, let's nuke all of Haley's HP for her bossing build, and you will see that this is still going to be absolutely ridiculous. Even Defiler with Haley, for example, even stronger than Glare in this instance. With Tormentor, let's see how it does on. Let's see how Tormentor does up against Haley. This one's going to be interesting. Let's nuke her HP again. 2, 3, come on, 4, and 5. Let's go. Oh, get that in. Absolutely insanity. Nope, thank you for the follow, and Lord Sith, thank you for the follow. This is absolutely... It's criminal. It's insane. And I was on the wrong setup. I should have been using the payout setup with Haley. I was using the wrong modules there, and I still ended up doing all of that damage. That's kind of insane. Let me quickly turn over to the actual correct one. 1 second. There you go. Now we've got payout on here. So, yeah. This was... This is what it is. And now let me give you the ultimate finale for this bossing segment, and that is the Deathstalker. Deathstalker is what people would consider, like, you know, the big bad, the boss that is the big menace and everything. And Deathstalker was infamous for being one shot by Serena. But what happens now with Haley and a blue beetle come into play? Two mags of the blue beetle will absolutely nuke the Deathstalker with Haley. Absolutely insane. Now let me remind you, on top of that, I am still using electricity for all of this. That is the power of the blue beetle. And I don't need to give you anything else. That's basically everything you need to know. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, please do smash that like button. If you're new here, please do consider subscribing. I make plenty of videos on the first Descendant, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.